Well, guess what? Faults lead to mountains and volcanoes. So there's basically four types. We're going to walk through all four. The first is the fault block. Okay, the fault block mountains, right? Picture, 1,000 words. How about this? I love this picture. So you've got this middle section that's moving upward as the outer sections are moving outward, and mountains are formed. So a whole block of a fault moves upward. Now, I've had the privilege of being in Wyoming and going to see the Grand Tetons and that. And this is an amazing picture of Mount Moran. Just beautiful. Another one, I haven't been there yet. The picture at the bottom right is down in Patagonia, Chile. And I hope to go there one day. I would love to take this picture. The lake in the foreground is there's actually on the shore of this lake is a hotel. So I hope to go there someday and take these pictures. But those are a couple examples of fault block mountains. Now the next type is called a folded mountain. Okay? And again, picture 1,000 words. Okay? The folded mountains, examples of that are like the Alps, the Appalachian over in the eastern U.S., the Himalayas, especially in Nepal. Okay, the diagram here shows kind of the movement of the plates and how they fold. And notice, there's that word asthenosphere shows up again. On the right-hand side, here's some pictures. On the right-hand side, the Alps near the top, and then the really varied colored layers there. This is out of I believe it's Mongolia. So these occur all over the world. The next type is what's known as the domed mountain or volcano, formed by volcanism. Yes, volcanism means volcanoes. Okay. Again, picture, 1,000 words. Here's some pictures. So the diagram, lower left, shows what's happening with the crust. Okay. But as it pushes up, it forms, I like to think, giant bubbles. Okay. The one on the top is down in Brazil. Some of you may be familiar with Half Dome out in California. That's the lower picture. So dome seems to be quite a good description of these. And then we have the classic volcanoes, right? As lava comes up through the mantle and spews out. Here's a great picture. Now, I had you guys watch this video. You watched it already. I'm gonna skip past this one. But guess what? We still have active volcanoes. Okay? One of the most magnificent ones more recently was up in Iceland, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Joe, you want to take a hack at it? It's okay to say no. No. He just shakes his head no. Yeah.
I would have to start learning how to speak in tongues to say that name.
Yeah. The more recent version of the Secret Life of Walter Mitty, they portray this they have a scene of this volcano going off, and he does pronounce it, but I haven't taken time to go back and figure out how to pronounce it. But anyway, because of the volcano going up affecting the atmosphere, it creates these thunderstorms with lightning, and I mean, as long as you're far enough away, it's very impressive. But if you're right up close, yeah, no thank you. But 2015 down in Nicaragua, okay, there's a fault line there that has volcanoes popping up through there. Probably the one that's most familiar to me. I graduated from high school in 1980, and that spring Mount St. Helens did its thing. I remember 1980 is Mount St. Helens. But not all of them are active. Some are dormant, some are extinct. This picture at the bottom right is a picture of what's known as Capulin Mountain. It's actually in northeast New Mexico, and I've actually been to this one and been up in it. You get down inside that crater that's up in the cone. It gets really warm in there, and it's not from lava or anything. It's just that you've got no air flowing and getting baked from the sun above. But it's basically an extinct volcano. It was active and erupted, did its thing years ago, but now it's dead.
Professor, my in-laws, well, my wife's family, they're all from Washington State. And
Yeah,
every once in a while, the family gets together and to talk about where were you when the mountain exploded? Those are some incredible stories.
yep,
Like my
yep,
father-in-law said some people picked up ash and filled jars with ash, that their car completely totaled because the engine just sucked all the ash.
yep.
And yeah, it was incredible.
Well, the mountain lost 1,300 feet of elevation, and there and a whole other lesson we could do, but I'm not going to. But just the geology that took place there, and yet you can watch now. It's interesting because uh, brand new rock is being formed, and we're going to talk about dating methods here in a little bit. It's fascinating that some of this brand new rock, if you use modern dating methods, even though it's brand new rock, gets dated to be thousands and millions of years old, and it just kind of really would make sensible human beings skeptical
I was
of
gonna
some of these.
ask you about carbon dating. Like when we're talking about all this stuff, like where do we as Christians land on carbon dating? I have my shelves answer for the students when they ask me about it, but I'd be really interested in what the full on decay answer is for it.
Okay, and that's part of today's lesson I'm going to get to here in just a little bit.
Awesome.
So I'll pay you later for that setup question. Appreciate you asking that one. All righty. So four kinds of mountains and the tallest mountains on each continent. Mount Everest, 29,028 feet above sea level, or for the folks of you that use metric system, 8848. That's in Asia. Down in South America, 6,962 meters, just over 20,000 feet above sea level, Aconcagua. North America, up in Alaska, Mount McKinley, 20,320 feet, 6,194 meters. Over in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, 5,895 meters. Over in Europe, Mount Elbrus, 5,642 meters. In the Caucasus Mountains. Tony, do you have mountains near you? I may have lost Tony. Oh well. I think he does. He's in Kiev, so I think they've got mountains not too far from him. All right. Then we've got, I'm not sure how to say this. It looks like Puncak. Puncak Jaya, which would be the Australian continent, 4,884 meters. Right? In the Hawaiian Islands, we have Mauna Kea at 4,205 meters above sea level. But notice the picture. That's only the part that's above the sea level. Underwater extends now another 6,000 meters, and so technically it's the tallest mountain on the planet, but it's not the farthest above sea level. All right. So I have been to Nepal. I have not been to Mount Everest, but I have flown by it and gotten pictures. I've not been to Aconcagua. I've been to McKinley. A dear friend of mine takes people on tours to Kilimanjaro. That's on my to-do list. Okay. But here in the United States, the continental U.S., the highest point in the continental United States is Mount Whitney in California at 14,495 feet. Yes, I've been there. The highest point in Colorado is Mount Albert at 14,433 feet. Yes, I've been there. And yes, here in Texas, the highest point is Guadalupe Peak at 8,750 feet. And yes, I've been there. I love exploring God's creation. Alrighty, so here's all the spheres. No, I'm not going to play the hymn for you again. You can go play it for yourself if you want to. Now, I've given you a link here that if you have kids or friends or students, it's an interactive model of the Earth, and it's kind of fun to go play with. So I thought I'd give you that.